مرحبا وأهلا وسهلا فيكم. Hello and welcome. In this short video, I will take you through Arabic language and what it means to have standard Arabic and to have a spoken or Levantine Arabic to make things easier. And how would you take an informed decision on what to study regarding Arabic? Let's begin. So first, our aims and objectives. You're going to get familiarized with Arabic and understand the differences between the several or main types of Arabic: classical, modern standard Arabic, and spoken Arabic. So Arabic is one of the most spoken languages on earth, like literally hundreds of millions of people speak it. The number is obviously disputed. A lot of people either speak it as a native language, like being born in a country that they speak Arabic, like myself being a native Lebanese. So I was born and brought up in Beirut, Lebanon. Or they have some exposure to it, maybe being the language of religion, reading the Holy Quran or the Holy Bible, maybe in Arabic, so they have a level of exposure to Arabic through religion, through reciting prayers, and so on. Or in some countries, it could be maybe a second language or a second official language. But some words in English actually come from Arabic. For example, sukkar is sugar, sukkar. Cotton in Arabic is cotton, cotton. The qa. Alcohol is alcohol, alcohol with a ha sound, and we're going to get to the different sounds later on. Sahra is the Sahara or desert, Sahra. So many words have blended into English, and as well, we have many words from English that have been adopted by Arabic, like electronique, electronic, mechaniki, mechanic, and so on, especially those that have to do with the modern terms and the scientific terms. So, as you can see, it's spoken all around the world, various parts, as I said, according to whether they're native speakers or whether it's a second language or so on. And that map is from online. It could be accurate to a certain extent, more or less. Okay, so Arabic is not just one language. Just like in English, you might have British English, American English, you might have different types of English and so on. Arabic actually is very peculiar. It has actually three kinds. Classical Arabic. What do you mean by classical Arabic to begin with? Classical Arabic refers to the ancient Arabic that was used for religious texts like the Quran and the Hadith, for example. And it's very important because people study it to actually access liturgical studies and to get to know more about their religion. So classical Arabic, and it has obviously ancient or more archaic syntax and even the vocabulary. Obviously, language moves on. So 1,500 years later, now we have the modern standard Arabic, which is the language that that Arabs use right now. But we also have spoken Arabic. So what's the difference between standard Arabic now and spoken Arabic? So let me explain this. When we go to school, as Lebanese, as a Jordanian, as an Egyptian person, as someone from the United Arab Emirates, or from any country that Arabic is the official language, in school, we study modern standard Arabic. So we study history, geography, and we take Arabic in modern standard Arabic. So basically, that's the modernized version of classical Arabic, or that's what we call formal Arabic. However, when we're home, When I'm speaking with my mom on the phone, or when I'm addressing my kids, or when I'm speaking with my husband, we never or hardly ever use standard Arabic. We use spoken Arabic. We use our own dialects. So as a Lebanese, I'm using my own dialect of Lebanese. As a Syrian, I will be using, which is really similar to Lebanese. I'm going to be using Syrian. As an Egyptian, I'm going to be using Egyptian. What's the difference? The standard Arabic is very rigid. It comes from classical, and it hasn't embraced the colloquial tongue very much. The pronunciation is different. Also the grammatical structure, the syntax, there's a lot of case endings. There's additional pronouns carried on from classical Arabic, for example. There's feminine, plural pronouns, dual pronouns, even when you're referring about to two people, for example. However, in spoken Arabic, this has all been dropped. Just as in English, modern day English is very simple and accessible to understand and learn, spoken Arabic has embraced that as well. So it's more modernized, and it's what we use in conversation. However, in schools, the local dialects are not considered a formal or official language yet in any country. So everyone still uses the one single form of Arabic, which is the standard Arabic. So whether I'm Lebanese Arabic, Syrian Arabic, Egyptian Arabic, we all studied Modernn Standard Arabic, or MSA, in school. So we all understand that. However, when we speak, or when we speak to one another, we do not speak using Modernn Standard Arabic, although we understand it, and that would have to be to a certain degree each, depending on how well we studied Arabic in school, because remember, that's coming from classical Arabic. So that's more like, let me say, Shakespearean English to a native English speaker. So you're studying something that's a bit ancient or a bit archaic. So universities, textbooks, schools, and news broadcasts, often newspapers are all written in standard Arabic. Poems, often books about literature, stories, mainly they're written in standard Arabic. There's not as much output in colloquial Arabic, because standard Arabic is looked upon as the language of eloquency and the language of education and the language of formal communication. So any kind of letter from the government or any kind of conference is going to be mostly in standard Arabic. However, spoken or colloquial Arabic, that depends on that person's national and local dialect. So if I'm Lebanese, I will have my Lebanese dialect, and even within the same country, there will be mild variations within the areas, like someone from the northern part of Lebanon, someone from the southern part of Lebanon, and so on. And when we speak about Levantine Arabic, the Levant is actually the area which includes Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and it includes Palestinian dialect as well. So it includes all those dialects. And we understand each other 100% because it's really, really close due to geographic proximity, obviously. So with mild variations between each region. For example, Egyptian would be a bit different, but obviously, let's say Egypt is the Bollywood of the Arab world. So we understand Egyptian perfectly because we grew up watching Egyptian television and cinema, for example. And now we have more exposure towards Gulf dialects, but Gulf dialects are different to our own dialects. So it will take more effort to understand them. But obviously, when we speak to each other as Arabs, we try and use what we call a plain accent or plain dialect, or a white dialect. That's what we call a white dialect. Trying to merge between our own dialect and some of the standard Arabic to make it very clear and understood by someone who perhaps might not understand us. But saying that, Lebanese is, if I would say, the easiest dialect to study and the most easily understood. So the Levantine dialect, especially the Lebanese, is considered to be the easiest, and it's considered to be the softest and smoothest. So it's very palatable, as described by Arabs themselves, as compared to maybe the more rigid and stronger dialects of, let's say, Gulf countries and so on. Or maybe the dialects of Morocco or Algeria, where they mix a lot with other languages like French and with their native Barbarian languages and so on. So I would say Lebanese is the easiest, smoothest, flowing and really palatable, considered very palatable and very nice to hear by other Arabs. So if you were to study Arabic for religious purposes, you're going to need classical Arabic for sure. So if you want to study Arabic to understand religious texts better and to understand what your prayers and so on, classical Arabic or Modernn Standard Arabic, so more or less they're very close. If you want to study Arabic for maybe political, diplomatic reasons, you're going to need Standard Arabic to access maybe legal documents and to understand that, because everything is in Standard Arabic. But you will also need a dialect to go along with. So what they tell you when you sign up for an Arabic course, that you study Standard Arabic and you'll be able to speak with any Arabic person in the street, which is not the case. So students might study Standard Arabic for years and then travel to a country like Egypt or Lebanon and just say hello to someone and start speaking, and they get like a shocked or surprised reply from that person or a surprised look, because for us, suddenly speaking in Standard is like you're trying to sound more formal, or you even trying to be funny and so on, because it's not natural. Just imagine as an English speaker, your friend suddenly tells you thou art whatever, or speaks in Shakespearean English. You're like, what's wrong with him? You know, so it's not common to speak in Standard Arabic unless you're speaking about a text like from your book or whatever. So it's not normal. When we're speaking, we use our native or our local dialect, which is different to the Standard Arabic. So if you want to learn Arabic for travel purposes, to travel and speak to people in the souks, in the street, in the restaurants, or to connect with your roots, as for example, someone who's like goes back to his grandparents or parents go back to the Levant area. So that's learning a colloquial tongue is perfect for you. Or if you want to connect with family members who are Lebanese, such as a husband, in-laws, then it's more beneficial to learn spoken Arabic than actually go for Standard. But it's always useful, I would say, I don't want to be very biased, it's always useful to know some Standard as well. So if you've learned some Standard, that's great, because it helps you in reading and writing, considering spoken doesn't have yet an official, it's not an official language yet. So we often use Standard Arabic to write and express ourselves in colloquial, and we also use English letters. So if you sign up for any of my courses as well, they're going to be transliterated in English for easier pronunciation. Okay, so classical Arabic, as we said, or Fusha Arabic, mainly for religious use. It's written and it's never spoken unless you're reciting a religious text and so on. Modern Standard Arabic or MSA or Fusha, it's a little bit easier, modern and widely used by Arabs formally, formal communication only, schools, universities, media, and so on, conferences. Spoken or colloquial Arabic, the different dialects, and as I mentioned, not all Arabs understand each other. Depends on the geographic proximity and the level of exposure. For example, I personally couldn't really understand much of Moroccan until or Tunisian until I had exposure, until I had friends who were Moroccan and Tunisian, and bit by bit it took me a while, because they have a different dialect, very different dialect. But I 100% understand Syrian, being a Lebanese, due to geographic proximity. Or as well, I understand Egyptian because I grew up watching Egyptian TV as well. It took me a while to understand, for example, people from Dubai, Gulf dialects, but now I understand them perfectly, having that knowledge as well, having been exposed and having been to Dubai. So if you were to learn Arabic, what kind of Arabic would you learn? Classical, Standard, or spoken? As I mentioned, if you want to converse and speak Arabic, 100% spoken Arabic. You don't want to waste like years and years and years learning classical or standard Arabic, but your goal is to communicate. Because if you're ever going to converse with someone in Arabic, we speak in daily life with our dialects. We never, ever speak using definitely not classical, definitely not standard Arabic. And unfortunately, dialects are not considered official languages. So any dialect in the world is not considered a language for a political reason or other. So for now, we only learn formal Arabic in school, but when we're speaking, we speak in our dialect. So if you want to learn to speak and communicate, especially when you travel or to connect with someone, then you definitely need spoken Arabic. And even if you've learned standard or classical Arabic, and obviously you've come to the conclusion that I can't really communicate with Arabs because they use spoken Arabic and not standard Arabic in daily life, you need to pick a dialect and start learning. And as I mentioned, the Levantine Lebanese dialect is perfect because it's really easy and very palatable to learn. And let me just add one point, that standard Arabic, even some natives don't really know much of standard Arabic because we spend years in school studying the grammar. There's a lot of case endings which has been dropped in spoken Arabic, like case endings, the grammar, and additional pronouns that you have to conjugate for, and very complex rules that even teachers can find challenging and complicated. So it takes years and years of study to reach proficiency, because actually it's a language that is not spoken in daily life. So it's not natural. It's more of a classical language or formal language. So someone who didn't get a good education or didn't have a good Arabic teacher, or even didn't like Arabic at school, their standard Arabic is probably really bad or wrong or whatever. But obviously, when they speak, they perfectly use this spoken or colloquial tongue. So my advice is, obviously, if you want to communicate and speak, you have to go for a spoken dialect, and Lebanese is more than perfect. Lebanon was basically used to be Switzerland or Paris of the Middle East, due to the important location, due to Lebanese being highly educated and being modern, more or less more modern of people in the Arab world, and being exposed to Europe due to the location and the integration of Lebanese with other cultures as well, and languages. So Lebanese is ideal. And even if you know standard Arabic already, it's time for you to move on to colloquial to start speaking and communicating. So hopefully this was helpful for you, and thank you. Shukran.